Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video on my time in hospital and my diagnosis with a brain tumour. I just wanted to be able to tell you my story firsthand instead of it coming from journalists. I feel it's a lot more personal. I can really show you guys how I was feeling. I can tell you all my thoughts and emotions and what was going on at that time. So, if you're interested in hearing my story, then keep watching. So I was 19 years old when I was diagnosed with my brain tumour. Now that I look back on it, I would have had symptoms for about 5 or 6 years, but they only became quite severe in September 2011. I thought I was just being my clumsy self because I've always been a clumsy person. So I started, it was like severe loss of balance. I would get extremely dizzy all the time. My depth perception was off, so I would literally just walk into door frames thinking I'm straight down the middle, but I wasn't. I would be completely off and just smack bang straight into a door frame. Or, you know, like the railings on my stairs, I'd just hit my hip on them all the time. I also had a lot of head spins, quite a lot of headaches. I would say at least once or twice, at least twice a week I would be getting severe headaches. They were like, they weren't just a normal headache, but they weren't a migraine. They were just sort of like this awkward in-between pain that I just couldn't get rid of. Around November 2011 I began to get these stabbing headaches. The only way I can really describe them, it was like someone was stabbing you in the back of the skull and then just like dragging the knife forward just slowly, and this pain would just like pulsate through my head. And the symptoms also became obvious at training. I would, you know, I'd just be doing like 60-meter run-throughs, something quite simple that really isn't taxing on your body, and I'd be off in the bushes throwing up, and I was like, am I really this unfit? Like, surely not, this can't be real. And I guess I just didn't know what was going on. Just every training session, it was literally every single training session I was vomiting, and I just couldn't train properly. I would get through the warm-up and I'd just feel ill. My whole body would just want to shut down. It was just so fatigued and I was in so much pain with these headaches. I didn't know what I thought it was. January 2012, I was at a competition in Adelaide. I had jumped a qualifier or 2 qualifiers for World Juniors in Spain, which was later on in the year, and I was also hoping to do a Olympic Games qualifier. My competitions were just shocking. Like, I was at the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like this, it was heartbreaking. I was training so much and so hard, putting in so much work, trying to battle through these headaches and throwing up, because I just wanted to make the Olympics. That had been my dream since I was 12 years old. And I was going to do anything to get there. I was at the point where I wanted to give up. I just didn't want to do it anymore because every competition was, it just broke my heart because I just couldn't jump. I was like, can I not jump anymore? Have I lost my ability to jump? Like, what is it? I don't understand. I was thinking I was just ill. My mum decided that I had to go to the GP. She was like, Amy, go to the GP, see what they say. Like, it could just be migraines. It's, you never know, just go through what they say. So I went to my local GP and they diagnosed me with middle ear. And basically they gave me antibiotics for it and it did nothing. Like it did absolutely nothing. Like I'd gone through, I think it was like a month's worth of antibiotics for it and it did absolutely nothing. I was like, Mum, like they didn't do anything, like what do we do? So Mum took me to a sports physician. It just clicked to Mum that something was wrong. Something was very wrong and we didn't know what it was. And then there was me just going on about life, just thinking I had a migraine and it was nothing and I was going to be fine and dandy because nothing bad ever happens to people. Like people, these things don't happen. Like this, nothing bad was going to happen to me because, you know, when you're young and you think you're invincible. Before I was taken into hospital, I was in bed every day vomiting. I was just bedridden for about a week straight and I would run to the bathroom vomiting. I would have these stabbing headaches like I described before. I couldn't balance, I could barely open my eyes. I was just in agonizing pain. And my mum, I was supposed to compete that weekend. It was also my 19th birthday. And I was supposed to compete that weekend. And my mum was like, just come out to the track, you know, see how you feel. Getting some fresh air and being out on the track might make you feel a bit better. So, as much as I didn't want to, I dragged myself out to the track and I just remember walking out to the hill at Homebush, like where the high jump bags are, and just curling up into a ball. And that's really all I remember. I was just in so much pain. Because it was my birthday, my boyfriend at the time threw me a surprise 19th birthday. However, that morning I was bedridden once again. And I guess I just kind of had to, so he took me out to dinner and then we came home and there was this big surprise party. And I was honestly just so upset that I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to because I was not in a good place. I kind of just had to like put on a smile and just act like I was okay. I was just like, Amy, just get through tonight and we'll do something in the morning. I guess Mum said if I was still feeling ill in the morning, she would take me to the hospital. So the next morning I woke up, I sat in my bed for about 20 minutes and I was like, okay, like I'm feeling okay. Like I'm not feeling that bad. And then it was just like, no, straight to the bathroom with this headache. It was just, it was the worst it had ever been. My whole body was shaking. I was just vomiting and Mum was like, okay, like let's go, we'll go to the hospital. So we went to the San in Wahroonga and I just remember sitting in the ER curled up in a ball with my vomit bag and I was probably crying as well. I really can't remember. When I spoke to the nurse, what are your symptoms, how are you feeling? And I told her about my headaches, my dizziness, just my loss of balance and everything. And they were just like, okay. They didn't really say much, so yeah. I was sitting there for about an hour or two and I was actually running backwards and forwards from the toilet because I was too embarrassed to sit there and vomit in my vomit bag because, yeah, I don't know why. I just didn't want to be in public vomiting like I was. And it was like every time I vomited, that stabbing pain throughout my skull would come back and it was just like the pain was so much it made me feel even more ill. while I was in the ER, I kind of thought it was a little bit fun in a way, because I'd never been to hospital before, and like I was being wheeled around in a bed, and I was just a bit of a novelty for me. I don't know why, but I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, like it's kind of fun. So I got my scans, and I was wheeled back into I got my own room within the emergency room, and I was just sitting there with my mum and my friend Demi, and we were just like talking, playing on my phone, and I think mum knew something was wrong, but I thought I was just fine. I thought I was perfectly fine. I thought they was gonna be like, yes, you're just suffering from migraines, we'll give you this and we'll send you home, you'll be okay. And I just remember the nurse walking in. I just remember lying there and her walking past and just saying, it's bad news. And I was just like, what do you mean it's bad news? Like, how is it bad news? What could it possibly be? And she said, it's a brain tumor. My heart honestly just sunk. Like when people say a light flashes before your eyes, it really does. And I was just lying there thinking, am I gonna survive? Am I gonna die at 19? Is this it? Oh man. Am I gonna be able to jump again? Am I gonna be able to model again? Am I gonna be able to see my friends again? Am I ever gonna get married and have children or make the Olympics or anything? And all this was running through my head at 100 miles an hour, and I just remember, like, my mum was here, the nurse was here, and she put up the scans, and it was just like this big white blob in the middle of my brain, and I was just in complete shock. I didn't ever think anything like this was ever going to happen to me. I just remember lying there and my dad coming in, I just in tears, and then I really can't remember much after that until I was in ICU. They took me into ICU because basically where it was located, it was on my brainstem, and it was blocking off the fluids from my spinal cord to my brain, and there was that much fluid built up in my brain that basically the tumour the tumour was swelling, and it could just completely cut off the fluids at any point, which basically meant I could have died within a matter of minutes. So they said if that happened, they would have to drill a hole in the top of my skull to release all the fluid. My whole family came to the hospital when I was in ICU, and I just remember lying there, just tubes coming out of everywhere, and just seeing everyone around me and the fear on their faces. And like my little sister was just in the corner crying, and I couldn't imagine what it had been like for them.